Chris?
Nothing at this time.
Chief?
Nothing.
Jean?
I have one item. You all should have received a memo regarding EDR. They are the company we have hired to help with the Brewerton revitalization project. At this time, in order for them to go forward, I need to get board approval for a PO amount. The last one we did in the amount of $22,000. So I'm asking the board for $23,000 for this PO. There is money for this. We have been coding all of their bills related to the Brewerton grant, to the grant account, the A69894. This is so they can go forward with the design standards and other things that help them. So.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Ryback?
Yes.
Mr. Coral?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Anything else, Jean?
Nothing.
Jody?
I just want to mention that William Park is now open 7 days a week, starting today, for the balance of the summer till third week of August.
Heather?
Couple things. The first thing is actually on behalf of Wayne and I. We've had some requests recently for overgrown lawns to be able to cut them at the town's expense and charge back to the property owner. And in Wayne's review of the New York State Building Code for this year, it appears that that provision has, it's either not where it used to be or it doesn't exist at all this year in that version of it. So we're not really quite sure where our authority is going to come from so that we can do that, but Wayne and I are looking into it and we'll get back to you with what we need to do, because I know that that's a concern for a lot of property owners, and the supervisor's office in particular is getting a lot of phone calls about
I
it.
did go up and check the one in Bridgeport and on Erica. Not only is the lawn about 3 foot high, but the eaves of the house are actually starting to fall off and there's moss growing on the roof. So it's
It's in bad shape.
It's
That
a
house has
pool.
been a problem for a long time now, though, hasn't it? No.
So that's that.
How soon are we gonna be able to come up with some answers, because people call us almost on a daily basis?
I would look by the next meeting,
Didn't
if not
we
before
have
then.
trouble finding the owners on that, or
I think it's a
contacting
bank.
them?
Yeah,
Maybe
it's a bank that owns it.
The next issue is that there's been some talk, particularly by some of the people involved in Brewerton revitalization, and potentially trying to acquire some properties up there to turn them into municipal parking to further the revitalization efforts. And Jennifer from our office asked me to bring a potential grant project to your attention and hopefully for you to move forward on it tonight. The project would be to acquire lands within the hamlet in order to add parking, increase parking space, and improve connectivity between different areas of the hamlet. This would be in the Riverfront Park area. The grant would be through, sorry, I was just looking at it. Parks, the New York State Parks Department, and the resolution you would need to go forward with would be that Chad Kaczynski, as supervisor of the town, would be authorized and directed to file an application for funds with the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation in accordance with provisions of Title IX of the Environmental Protection Act of 1993 or the Federal Land and Water Conservation Act of 1965 in an amount not to exceed $325,000, and upon approval of said request to enter into and execute a project agreement with the state for such financial assistance to the town for Brewerton revitalization and, if appropriate, a conservation easement preservation covenant to the deed of the assisted property.
And that's through the New York State Parks?
Parks and Recreation and Historic Preservation Department. It's a grant available through them that Jennifer thinks might work to be able to acquire some property and get some municipal parking up there, which I think the committee has thought would be a really good idea to get people to be able to stay in the area and walk around.
Yeah, we need to-
I'm assuming that's not a matching fund grant, that's just a straight grant for through.
I believe it may be a matching grant. I'm not sure what the matching portion would be at this point.
But it's basically the same as any other grant that we have in lieu of,
Yeah.
in-kind services.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Very much so. And of course, this is just to apply for it. This isn't even at the point where you
Just
may
the
receive
rest.
it. You may have to appropriate money or anything like that. So.
Jody, you aware of this grant?
Yes, and it definitely is a match. I'm not sure if it's 25 or 50%. It's the, it's out there every year. So I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with parking lots, using the money for parking lots, but it's serviced through Central Region, Jeannie Egenhofer, right in our Central Region State Parks group.
Okay.
And that's who's also doing the Sleek Park grant funds that we have is through New York State Parks as well. So.
Do we need a resolution for that?
If you can move on it as I read it, and I'll make sure Tracy has it in full for the minutes.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Mr. Ryback.
Yes.
Mr. Corl.
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes, anything else, Heather?
That's it, thank you.
Joe?
Just one item, this is for the Vistula Path Drainage Improvements Project that we're working on. We're just looking for an approval to go ahead and advertise the project and then take bids on July 24th.
You aware of that, Wayne?
Yes, I talked to Mark about it. The bid date is set, it's the Thursday before the next town board meeting, which will give O'Brien and your time to review the bids and then make a recommendation at the next town board meeting.
So we need a resolution for that. Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Mr. Ryback.
Yes.
Mr. Corl.
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes. Anything else, Michelle?
No, that's it, thank you.
Wayne?
Nothing at this time.
Nita?
Not at this time, thank you.
Sharon?
I'd like to take a few minutes, please, to express to this board my most sincere thank you for allowing me to attend. Okay, this is emotional, I'm sorry. Nice to have conferences year after year. I know every time I ask for permission to attend, I remind you that I'm on the board of directors, I've been the treasurer for many, many years, and I serve on 6 different committees within the organization. I have repeated over and over how we train new receivers and collectors, and that we work with the Senate, the Assembly, and our legislature on new and pending bills that can and will affect our residents. On this past June 17th, at the recent conference, I was presented with the Elizabeth J. Green Award. I was presented this award by none other than Elizabeth J. Green herself, and it's the second time it has been given in this state. The first time it was given to Betty herself in June of 2002. This award is given to a member who has shown exemplary dedication, is conscientious, diligent, and whose unselfish service is for the betterment of New York State Association of Tax Receivers and Collectors. The Elizabeth J. Green Award can and will be presented to any deserving person in future years that the association nominates and finds an eligible person. It's not an award that will be given yearly, only in explicit situations. So, I'd like you all to see the winner of the award and what it looks like.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For posterity.
Sorry I was so, but you know, it's emotional for me. It means a lot, so thank you.
Well, not only did you receive that award, but you also received an award from the Chamber of Commerce that's in front of us here for Tom and yourself. So, you know, this is something that you two do on a daily basis when you're out helping everybody and anybody that calls. You know, you're out all hours of the night, so.
Well, I think that more people should volunteer, because it really is fun. We do it because it's fun. It does get a little bit overwhelming. My household gets a little close sometimes, but basically it's a fun thing, and it's a nice thing, so more people should learn to do that. Because it's a great community we live in.
It's just great that we've got you two.
Thank you.
Especially Tom.
Yeah, he does the heavy work.
Thanks, John.
Tracy?
Yes, I just have one thing. I would just like to declare a table that is no use to the town, that actually is in pretty poor shape. I just wanted to declare it surplus and no value. Just ask for permission of the town board to
Motion to
dispose
approve.
of it.
Second.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Ryback?
Yes.
Mr. Corl?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Anything else?